call Tatum an all-star no more, bro. This dude is tall for no reason. He is a casual.
They got to the moment and they did not look like they were ready for the moment.
Come on. There we go. Let me see if this is ready. Okay, good. Now it's been so long since the conference finals and now everybody's focusing on the NBA finals. I just love the fans were up in arms about us losing to the Heat when the circumstances were just not fair. I feel like this conference finals made me feel even more bitter now that we can't go to the NBA finals, which is the biggest stage in basketball. But before I talk my thoughts on the offseason, I really need to commence my mission on breaking another case I've spent tireless hours working on, and quite frankly would make me feel worse because of the stuff I'm finding. Now that the finals are underway and people thought that this NBA iceberg would be ignored and sunk under the deep crevice, well, unfortunately only a handful of us actually have eyes, so they don't realize the evidence that's stacked against the NBA and the Miami Heat. And since every one of you guys at least have ears, I myself will explain my findings to you, but not here. This place looks too casual. Just a second. So the NBA iceberg has been around since its creation, but it rose to the surface once NBA was commissioned by David Stern in 1984. Since then, conspiracies over the NBA have been viral, from folded envelopes, corrupted referee calls, to hidden agreements between players that had ruined an MVP's prime. These conspiracy theories are everywhere, to the point that the league have accused of favoritism among certain teams to gain profit. But for some reason this season, it seems to be the underdogs that have made the finals. The Nuggets were a team that had experienced failures for many years before getting to this point, and Miami Heat looked like a varsity team that made the playoffs, and then suddenly they turned into prime Chicago Bulls. The Heat are a team that was supposed to be known for ruining the NBA and bringing in talents with the beautiful city of South Beach as their leverage. So why did they decide to change it up and have a different policy this season? Because of the sum of the numbers. This is year 2023, and when you add them up together, it'll give you 7. 7 is a representation of fortune, and it is a sign that miracle is about to occur. Why did God create the world in 7 days? Why is there 7 colors of the rainbow? Why does Manchester United consider 7 as their treasure number? And why does Harry Potter contain 7 as their strongest number? Because if someone gets a hold of the number 7, anything can happen. Want proof? Last time these numbers add up to 7 was 2014, where the San Antonio Spurs miraculously beat, ironically, the Miami Heat, and the time before that was in 2005, where the year Pistons, yes, the Pistons gone to lose the finals, but they were underdogs throughout the playoff journey, beating super teams without any glorified superstars along the way. 7 is a number of the day, I might say. Now they realize 2023 is a miracle year. Rather than building their team as glorified as they can, they decided to become sleepers, so the odds will be against them, so they can stealth tank to the playoffs. In the playoffs, the odds were against them right from the start, with a 3% chance of winning the Eastern Conference Finals, but thanks to the NBA and Miami's respect for God, guess what happened? The Miami Heat won the conference finals in 7. Does this make sense to you guys now? Come on, speak up. I don't have all day, bro. I can't hear you. Oh, fine. You just think I'm waffling because I'm salty, but this is only the beginning. You really think my project ends with 550 words, bro? In your dreams. We're moving on. What I'm trying to imply is that I genuinely believe that the Game 7 was staged from the very beginning, and that the Heat players knew that they were going to be in this position for a whole year. Sounds scary, right? Well, I'll prove it to you. In order for this event to go underway, there's a lot of things that need to be done under the microscope to complete this recipe. The first ingredient is Jimmy Butler. For a long time we've been hearing Jimmy Butler is him, but who exactly is him? For a long time people thought it's Michael Jordan, as Jimmy Butler is rumored to be his son, and that is half right because they have a very strange connection. They have similar height, position, personality, and even appearance. But what is really bizarre is this. Remember how many points Jimmy Butler scored in Game 7? 28, and that happens to be his second Game 7 win. How many points did Michael Jordan score in his second Game 7 win? That's right, 28 against the Indiana Pacers, which is ironically also in the Eastern Conference Finals matchup. Mind you, this recipe was produced across the National Basketball Association, so we need to look at where this event occurred and where it was inspired from. Obviously Miami and Boston, and since Jordan played for the Bulls, Chicago is involved in this too, as well as Indianapolis, or specifically Indiana. That's our first 4 spots, but the term him could also be referenced to another god of basketball, and that's LeBron James. It's so weird to see an overlooked forward trying so hard to beat LeBron's record, but it makes sense now considering he's Jordan's son and how he wanted someone else to complete his Jordan specifically wanted someone else to complete his noble work to forever establish himself as a god of basketball. Ironically, a year earlier, Jimmy Butler scored 47 points in TD Garden to force Game 7, which is one more than LeBron James did in Game 6. No coincidence, right? But since he failed, Jimmy, or more specifically Jordan, was still hungry, and after the game he said,
I think we had enough. I think we do have enough. It sucks because, like, you don't know who's going to be on a roster any given year, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to play with the guys that I did have the opportunity to play with. And it's been like that every year that I've played in the league. So we had enough. Next year, we will have enough. And we're going to be right back in the same situation. And we're going to get it done.
only Michael Jordan will want a rematch of a similar situation, and that is what Jimmy did. As a result, in a shocking turn of events, the Celtics were matched with both the Atlanta Hawks and the Philadelphia 76ers again and forced them to win the same number of games, and that's how we locate 2 new locations, Atlanta and Philadelphia. While the Heat won 4-1 and 4-2 respectively, exactly like in 2012, and just like in 2012, the Heat won in 7. Now that Jimmy Butler had the perfect scenario for the Heat to win, they need to ensure that other obstacles were cleared before they made this run. And what happened next? In an attempt to ensure that things will go perfectly right, they need to ensure that nobody in the NBA organization will be a threat to their title hopes. And there's only one person that is rumored to be a Celtics fan that works for the NBA, Eric Lewis, who infamously missed a foul call on LeBron James and called an air push an offensive foul.
And guess where Eric Lewis is resided from? That's right,
Florida, in the exact same state as Miami. Sure enough, what happened right before Game 7, he was put under investigation, will be unavailable for the rest of the playoffs. Now that's taken care of, the Heat felt there's nothing that can stop them, which explains why they bought the tickets to Denver. They'll eventually fly back to Miami so they can have extra preparation for the final, and Denver is the next location, one might say. But as we saw from the past, the Heat are a very precarious organization and will take minor details into considerations as shown through their draft choices and free agent signings throughout the years. And even after all of this, they still don't think it's good enough, and they need to take down another force that prevents them from the finals. The man from the other team, Jason Tatum. But why Tatum? He wasn't the best player throughout the series, but his influence on the floor is what made the Heat worry. He mustn't play.
and stats shows it. Who leads the season in points? Tatum. And who leads the season in rebounds? Tatum. Who leads the season in assists? Tatum. And most importantly, who leads the Celtics in box plus minus? That's right, Tatum.
So that stat made them jump, and they need a man to take him down. That player? Gabe Vincent. But why Vincent? It's simple. Remember the last time someone attempted to injure a superstar's ankle? Zaza Pachulia and Kawhi Leonard, who is ironically a small forward like Tatum. Where was Gabe Vincent when that happened? California. The exact same state that this game was held in. Not to mention, Vincent had an ankle sprain earlier in the series, which makes him more knowledgeable about how a basketball player could hurt their ankles to begin with. But it doesn't stop there. Since the injury occurred, both the Spurs and the Celtics were outscored by 24, with only the NBA attempting to reduce the lead to 19 when all key players are out of the game. So, in conclusion, we have our 3 locations. Vincent's rested in Sacramento, San Francisco, and San Antonio, which returned back to Miami now that everything is taken care of. Now if we take a step back to look at the map, what do you see? The number 7, a number that symbolizes fortune and miracle, and to seal it off, the letter M for Miami was presented for everyone to see. This once again proves that this game is staged and planned out by the NBA to add ice onto one of the most exciting yet polarizing leagues in the world.